Dr. Ian Chaine. He is a development consultant, former LC5 Wakiso district. He has taken up and served in different roles in government and out of government. My pleasure to host you this morning. Thank
you very much. I'm also grateful that finally we are meeting again after this long period.
Yes.
I know that there are many people who have been saying, where are you to people? But I also want to thank God, because at the end of the day we are here and we are living the life He protected us to live in.
Good.
Sometimes I feel so sad when I see certain things happening. This time I was faced with the challenge of a parent who was trying to fight for the life of his son, and again he drowned into the waters. I think this was a big, big challenge to that family, and they had just wedded with his wife.
Really?
I want to think that that family is facing so many challenges, and they need really a lot of prayers. Because when you see a parent seeing his son drowning, he runs in to protect his son, and instead he drowns down. But the opportunity which we can look at in this scenario is that the son was saved by another person. The son therefore did not die, but that family should be going through a lot of challenges.
Okay.
I've heard you talking about the opportunities and the challenges involved into the election, but movement continues to win. And I know there is no one who is doubting that, because at the end of the day, everybody knows that when we are so scattered in looking for votes, we still win. So when we are no longer scattered and we are going for by-election, that means all the forces are available to take care of one person's constituency, which makes it a bit easier.
Okay.
So unlike others, but also it takes a lot of time to agree that some of these elections are still demanding the opposition to reorganize themselves. You always hear them saying, today we are grouping up. Then the other day they are divided. I was looking at the election in Kasese, and I said, these people, if they had joined up...
Is it the strength of NRM, or it's something else? Winning, I mean, win after win, victory after victory?
It's a level of organization in political lineage. Okay. You know, politics is another kind of play. You can't just look at it from the normal part of it. Because in politics, you do quite a lot to bring everybody on board. Otherwise, you can't have everybody on your side. It's the magic, the system you use, the inner organization.
So NRM party is getting better?
I think it's
not
only getting better, it's getting stronger and stronger, because it's already good, because you can see how many members of parliament we have. We are only adding on more. Where we didn't perform well, we go back, or we put correction to our mistakes and challenges. You have had people complaining, you know, land issues here, the road issues here, the failure to fulfill this pledge. And those are the things which we put back together. It only implies that people were still believing in us, but because we did not perform our duty as expected in that area, they chose to do something else.
Okay.
Otherwise, in some cases, we had won, but there were challenges. They were challenged in the courts of law, which is still our plus. Because if there is a challenge in the courts of law, it's allowed, the court decides, and some of them even go up to the Supreme Court. That means there is still another arm of the government which is playing its role under the supervision of NRM government.
All right. Thank you so much, viewers. And now we kick off the show. Dr. Ian Chaine in the studios, but we've been joined by Honorable Mauku Stephen Mugole, and he is the Member of Parliament representing Kabweri County, NRM. Welcome to the show once again after a while.
Oh, thank you. I'm pleased to be here. I've taken some 2 months or so because of very busy schedules. But I'm happy to be back. And viewers, please continue listening in. And for my people of Kabweri who made me come to Parliament, I thank you greatly. And I think I'm serving you.
Well, Stephen is also a trade unionist and serves on several committees of Parliament.
Yes.
Good. Viewers, there is a platform. You can join the discussion. Send your SMS, send your WhatsApp message on 0701 609906. It will be running on your screens. And the main issues for discussion this morning, like I said in my introductory statements, the Kenyan election and the saga at the Uganda Airlines. Those are the main issues for discussion this morning. The Honorable Stephen, talk about briefly what we've been discussing here in just one statement. Is NRM getting better, getting more organizing? The winning streak, right from Amoru, then to Palisa, Eastern Uganda in the Teso sub-region election, then Ibuchimbiri, right to Kasese. Is it getting better organized? What could be the issue?
Yes, the multipartism. Like His Excellency said that we're just growing. I can tell you for the NRM now it has grown. In NRM, the multi-party principles had a lot of individual merit. Now, it is no longer individual merit. It is either you're a flag bearer or not. However strong you are as an individual, now as NRM, it has entrenched the multipartism that the party first, the individual next. So it is not only growing stronger, it has grown strong.
Really?
NRM has grown strong, and that's why you can see that, for example, in Kisoro, almost all the other members of parliament who are also NRM were not supporting their colleague. But the party stood its ground and said, we shall all have to toe one line.
What is happening with the opposition? As NRM wins, they are, of course, automatically they are losing ground. Like, for instance, in Kasese, which used to be a stronghold of the NRM, of the FDC, the NRM is taking over.
Yeah, it's not only that area. NRM is taking over everywhere. What of the entire northern Uganda, where NRM has won? It was also a very big stronghold of opposition. You see, we have to get some examples, and I think copy also, like what Kenya is doing. If the opposition is not in alliances and you think you will work alone, there will almost be no opposition. And that's the problem we are having in opposition. Whoever wins wants to take it all within the opposition. They don't want to ally. And that is a weak point for us as the NRM we enter and use. You can imagine now we have a cooperation with the UPC, we have a cooperation with the DP. So the opposition that is left, first of all, opposition is not bad. It should be there. It can check on us. That's why we have to give them all those oversight committees in parliament, because we should have checks and balances. That's why Ruto was saying that he will maintain the opposition in Kenya, so that they really check on his government. So even here, we don't have a problem having opposition, as long as they are doing the right
But
thing.
then you have a chairman who is saying at some point he will have wiped out all the opposition. Let's go to our main topic for discussion. Dr. Ian, let's go straight to Kenyan politics. Our politics is, I don't know.
Wiping out.
There's a big difference.
Wiping out is a synonymous word which you can use to say it will no longer value much.
Not that
it will not be there totally.
As long as it's a multi-party dispensation,
yes.
not wipeable.
That it will not be it will no longer be a worry.
It can only remain on paper.
Now, use what
the opposition may remain on paper,
yes, what
but
happened,
in practice.
What happened in Gogonyo is that all the people pulled out. But still there was an election.
Without any inducement.
Yes, but again there was an election. Why?
Well, the inducement could be the fact that you might not win, and therefore there is a winner. So why don't you?
But again there was an election. Even when everybody had pulled out, there was still an election for purposes of ensuring that the multi-party is there. And because the Secretary General of Loop had not withdrawn. So we went into the election.
Well, I think it's a matter that.
But there was still opposition.
It should be a matter. It's a matter that should be investigated anyway, because pulling out at a critical stage of an election, there must be a big reason behind that the move.
Yeah.
Let's go straight to Kenya, and you tell us, Doctor, what you think about the electoral process in Kenya generally, because we had time to discuss this particular matter, but towards the end, we saw those unfortunate moments of scuffles, and then Raila Odinga boycotting the declaration ceremony and all that. What do you make of the Kenyan elections?
I think Ugandans, we have a lot to learn from Kenyan elections. And we are lucky that they are close brothers. And as we all know, Kenya has been going through a number of challenges which are a bit closer to ours, or that one time they over-escalated our challenges here. To begin with, they had the 20 years of Arap Moi. Although they had a short period with Kenyatta, the first president. But Arap Moi pushed them a longer distance. And I think at that point...
Under one-party state?
Under one-party state. I think it was under one party, but not under one-party state. It was KANU in the leadership, but there were other parties. Now, after 20 years, you can see what they are doing. And I think that's what they needed. I look at it like a Chama Cha Mapinduzi in Tanzania. They also had the late Mwalimu Nyerere,
23 or 4
and he also ran them for a reasonable period. Unfortunately, during that time, we were all 3 countries in East Africa that time, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. And unfortunately, the 2 had the first period of their independence with longer serving heads of state to concentrate and generate systems which have managed them to have a bigger stride than maybe what we went through of 9 presidents almost in the same period, close to the same period. Now, Uganda is now facing the other way forward by putting again now a president who is taking a much longer period. Unlike those who started with a longer period are now breaking down into 10 years, 5 years. For us, we have just started now the system again. I believe after President Museveni, there is going to be a big opportunity of Ugandans having maybe those 10 years, because there will be no better reason for someone to stay longer, because most of the system would have been properly built. But again, when you look at the politics in Kenya, you find that at one moment they have learned the politics of merging ideologies, of merging interests, of merging their political parties into stronger bodies, which are always coming out not only to marginalize the other parties where they come from, but to build a strong alliance which can help them as a team to foster their ideologies and get as many people to support them, instead of isolating each other, and at the end of the day they cannot build the strength they want to build. Now, that merging of parties only implies that there are a certain group of people who are thinking in building their nation, and they are giving issues. They are talking about issues, not the language, not the tribe, not the color of the party. Instead, they are saying it's the streets we want to improve, it's the human rights we want to work on, it's the issues of food, it's the issues of environment. As they were discussing, I heard the speech of President-elect Ruto, who was saying this time we are talking about issues, not our tribes and so on, as it might have been before. Now, that merging alone only implies that they are trying to now to run away from just separating each other for personal interest of being the president of a particular party, but building interest for the nations. which I think in our country we might need to buy. And I think our president has already demonstrated that. When he comes out with these agreements he's making with these people, some of them are quiet and mutual agreements. They are not much spread out, but you can just see it that they continuously is appointing people from UPC. And on the top level of UPC, when you appoint the wife of the president of UPC, what does that mean inside the bedroom of a president of UPC? It simply implies there is that working relationship. When he brought on board the Atubos of that time,
Omara.
Yes, all that shows you.
UPC.
Now today, he has just demonstrated that he can work even with DP. Of course, he has always told us that DP without him is not DP. So I think he's saying, this is my DP. I know them. They have interests, good interests in this country. Like he has always said, they don't have negative issues. They are only raising matters of concern, which everybody can listen to. Now, that merging which he's trying to do is good enough to show you that the nation can be divided into two blocks because of ideologies. This is how we want to do this, but for us, this is what we want to do. We all want to do roads, but before we do roads, we want to have enough correction from URA. How do we get enough correction from URA? Building stronger alignment with the business people, improving on our infrastructure, which are bringing in goods and services, so that at the end of the day, we can build other systems. The other people are saying, no, we start with this. That's the separation of ideology, which is understandable in politics. But now, when I look at the election which has just been on, I think Kenyans have a lot to celebrate.
Really?
Yes. The Kenyans have a lot to celebrate, especially in the face of the world, in the face of East Africa, in the face of those who have been thinking that Africa cannot do anything better. When they got challenges in their past elections, they discovered that they need to continuously come up with laws which can improve the electoral process. Like everybody has been saying, the electoral process in Kenya has been quite much better than before. Leave alone the period when it became opaque, as one of the members said. But all of us were satisfied with the way we are getting the information. All of us were satisfied with the way they were having their campaigns. Of course, at one point you would think the other one is going over and above. But the sitting president, maybe this is one advantage of a sitting president leaving. You know, if you're a sitting president and you are leaving, even if they talk negative about you, it's quite minimal. It doesn't create a lot of havoc. Even to your assistants who would say, how can this man abuse the head of state? But of course, at that moment, he's a standing and a sitting head of state. So, but you would see that they are pulling down all those havocs which would have created more disharmony, and they are bringing in important issues of maintaining the stature of the campaign, making sure that everybody has an opportunity, making sure that where they had challenges that don't come and the campaign here, we have this and that meeting. Those are a few cases. We had some blitz coming out of the chambers in some cases, but it was not a government policy. So what does it mean? It simply implies that we need to build the strength of that process, because the process itself is the best way every democratic process can achieve from the election, any election in any government in any country. Now, when it comes to the final pronouncement,
the declaration.
The declaration, I think there are issues known as a member of a board of government bodies. I've been a member of board for UBC for a long time, and I've been also a commissioner for Finance Commission in this country, which takes a decision, including a district which I was chairing. I was supposed to make sure they get enough money, but in the whole country, there are issues of conflict of interest. Let me tell you, no Kenyan can wake up and say, in such an election, had no side.
Okay.
Not even the Chief Justice will ever say that. Not even the Archbishop.
But you may
because
not,
in such an
you
election,
don't expect a commission
yes,
that has been working together for some time. Then at the end,
yes,
as the country and the whole world is waiting for that final declaration, then there is a spirit.
Let me tell you.
In 2 minutes, because we're going for a break.
Let me tell you. As we all know, the final decision is a final verdict. And that's when you should all stand and be very clear. The conflict, normally when we are in such board meetings, we ask anyone with conflict of interest, declare your conflict of interest. Me, I support Ruto. Me, I'm supporting Odinga. You two move out. For us who have decided to be neutral,
so you think,
we take it.
Doctor, you think the
I can
conflict
see
of interest
challenges of conflict of
we are at
interest
play.
coming in. And at whoever, either side, I can't relate to the deputy and her team, neither to the chairperson and his team. What I can say is that at one point, there seemed to be conflict of interest coming in. But the good thing is that they have the mathematics. They have their figures. And I think this is going to be one of the easiest way, the easiest election to prove who the winner is if we have a neutral Chief Justice, as they are supposed to be, or the Supreme Court.
But it shouldn't go to the Supreme Court when actually it is the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. If they were independent, then there wouldn't be issues of conflict of interest.
But the word independent only implies that they can do what they did. Actually, what Chebukati did displays that it is independent of any pressure.
Okay, viewers, this is the dialogue. We have Dr. Ian Chaine. We have Honorable Mauku Stephen Mugure, the Member of Parliament for Kabwezi County. We'll go for a short break. When we return, Kenyan politics dominated the public discourse almost 3 weeks or a month here, and we come back with what it means. The 5th president of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto, being declared the new president, but again, his rival Raila Amolo Odinga rejects the results, going to the Supreme Court again. I don't know how many times they will be referring the election to the Supreme Court. It always ends and ends in the Supreme Court. Will the Supreme Court annul this election, or maybe the petitioners will pull, will retrieve and go back and lick their wounds? We'll go for a break. When we return, the dialogue will be on again. Welcome to the dialogue. It is the second hour, and we have Honorable Dr. Ian Chaine in the studios. We have Honorable Mauku Stephen Mugure in the studios. We're looking at the Kenyan election and how it pans out after Raila Amolo Odinga rejected the outcome and the results that were read out by the chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Wafula Chebukati, that gave Dr. William Ruto victory. And let me listen and pick your opinion, Honorable Stephen. Talk about an election that was largely peaceful. Then at the final moments of the election, we see scuffles, we see a split in the commission, and finally Raila rejecting the results. What does that mean to the Kenyan politics and the politics of the region?
First of all, I would like to commend the Kenyans themselves, because that pronouncement, when the commission was divided, could really lead Kenya to turmoil, because I just don't know how it worked out, but the prayers and the comfort the two main contestants had put to their electorates, that please, whatever the result, remain calm, I think helped. But a scuffle within the commission could lead to turmoil. And I just want to thank Kenyans. But all that said, the commissioners, the vice chairperson and the 3 others who went out, 4 against 3, would show that there was something sinister within the commission. if they say there was the opaque nature of the 32 constituencies that were not verified, then there is no smoke without fire. There must have been something there. But also considering what the commissioner, the chairperson, said, that these other commissioners were forcing him not to declare anybody, that nobody has won, nobody has made the 50% +1 mark. Presupposes also that even in either case, even Raila had not won. So either of the two could have not won. But what would you do as the chairperson? You had to declare.
But you declare the facts.
Yes, to him, that is the fact. To the other commissioners, they don't have the alternative fact. Because they are not saying that the exact ballot or vote for Raila was this and for Ruto was the other. At least for him, he has the fact. The others have not given the fact. They would say Raila got this, Ruto got this, but this one declared this. So the one who has the fact is the chairman. And that's what the world and Kenya has to follow. And actually, Ruto is the 5th president, though not yet
sworn in.
But at least he was declared. When they go into Supreme Court, like they have gone, 2 or 3 things are going to happen. One, to uphold.
Have they petitioned the Supreme Court yet? They haven't.
They have last day. Another person has petitioned one other person has petitioned. He took his petition yesterday. Almost a similar case that Ruto and Cheptaki cheated. But I'm sure they are taking their constitutional petition.
Possibly tomorrow. Or Monday.
Monday. Because that's their last date to take. That petition can be both for judicial but also for political. That as we put, let us negotiate. They may even withdraw, even if they have put, they may withdraw. Because what I envisage is that the court's ruling, I wonder whether the court can rule that Raila won. I don't think that one they can. They can only uphold Ruto or order for a rerun. Because even the chairman, Cheptaki, up to now, has not come to explain those 32 constituencies where these ones say it was of opaque nature. Maybe that is one of the strongest points they can use in their petition that can overturn that declaration and they go for a rerun. I was in Nairobi for 14 days and just something like 1 week to the election. And truly very many people, according to opinion polls, knew Raila would win. And very many people over the world wanted Raila at least to be president for at least this one term or so. But I think they messed up.
Who? There's Mio.
There's Mio. They took it for granted with the opinion polls that they are above. You can imagine the people who were over around 5,000 people escorting Raila for election. To mean for them they didn't vote. Having some agents not available on the polling stations when you are really somebody who is even being supported by government.
By the incumbent.
By the incumbent, it shows that the Raila team is not a winning team. It's not a winning team. And I wonder how they did it. For Uganda, we have already congratulated Ruto because the president congratulated on our behalf. So we have already congratulated Ruto. And some of the feelers that come say ballot papers came from Uganda, vehicles, what? That means we are better off, as Uganda, we are better off with Ruto than any other person.
Really?
Yes, because it seems we shall be fought. But also, 3 weeks ago, while in Munyonyo, His Excellency told this outspoken speaker from Kenya, is called that one of the two...
P.R.O.
Lumumba. Please go and tell one of your countrymen, either Ruto or Raila, whoever who will win, that we can start our monetary union, even if it is two countries. In fact, it is criminal for us not to embrace the East African community values. So that's why I think that's the way to go. But if it is a rerun in Kenya, I can assure you that Raila will lose miserably. Because now, even those who were feeling cold that Ruto may not win have now seen that. And people are not now running away from Ruto to, I mean from Kenya Kwanza to Azimio. People are now running away from Azimio to Kenya Kwanza. At the moment, the independents going the other side, and very many other people. So even teachers yesterday on the street saying now we have left Azimio, we have gone to Kenya Kwanza. And actually, these people were debating issues. It is the first time in Kenya the politics of Kenya was not on ethnicity. And this can be proved by what Ruto did. Ruto ruptured the ethnicity by beating Jubilee people in mountain area, close friends of Uhuru, relatives of Uhuru, and beat them. And even beating Baringo, Moi's son. He ruptured what they call ethnicity. And it is, I think it is the way to go.
Your final comment on the process, because even from observers' point of view, before the declaration, the whole world was praising the system and the process in Kenya until news came out about the death of that commissioner, Daniel Musyoka, and then the scenes we saw at Bomas. What do you think about the system? At one point, Ugandans were saying, really, indeed, this system is better than what we have here. But then, in the end, they were split. Some saying that no, Uganda's system is better, electoral system is better. What do you think?
On either side, the electoral system in Uganda declaring a president within 48 hours, I think it is too early.
Oh,
I would think it would be around 72 hours, within three days. For them also to say it is 7 days is too much. There is a lot of anxiety, and again too, that many people are not working. They are just waiting for that. So I think that should be, that's the comparison I can make there. But on their system, the way they voted, I think is far better than ours here.
Really?
That's what I suppose. Because we could get the results immediately. The only problem there is, are those results verified? For example, if those results are put on the public portal and on verification, they are falsehoods, it can also cause a problem. But most of the verified results were as is.
But I think that openness to publish on the public portal.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's better than here.
Yeah, also,
it's better than here. Putting it on the public portal. So already people know. People know. Other than putting it off WhatsApp, no communication, no what. That was not correct. It's better to leave it, because an election is an election.
And also, if I can chip in, when you look at the verification process, is much more organized and quite laborious. Because if you are checking at every polling station and you are checking the agent who was involved, the person who was the head of the polling station, coming in to prove that indeed this was my signature and this is what happened at this polling station. I think that's something which really was not even easy to accept that it can be done.
It can be done.
But when it comes out to be done, then that's good enough. And also to put it on their portal, it simply implies that if you make a mistake, you are responsible for it. Send us the correct information, because eventually it will be supposed to be proved to be correct or wrong. So I think
so you admit we have something to learn.
Yes, because that's where the problem is.
That's where the
Many votes in this country have been held, and the results are changed along the way as people go to submit them to the district level.
And they change, they forge signatures.
And when they change them, if you go with your correct form, they say, but we received this one, and they take that.
And for them, they say, we take the one which our returning officer has brought.
So I think that was very sensible.
We finally agree that the Kenyan electoral system
but I was
far much
also
better
looking at
than ours here.
this kind of win. We had a president within East Africa some time back when it had been somehow stunted for some time. And there were these people who were boxing. They used to complain that, you know, these people are against us. They don't accept that we have won. Then this president said, but if they are maligning against you, what you should do, go and have a knockout. Laila should have had a knockout in this.
Yes.
Because he had everything in his hands.
Everything to do a knockout.
So if he didn't manage even a knockout, now he's fighting for this very tight.
Yeah.
You know, it was so tight that every time...
We have to agree that the race was very, very tight.
Yes, but with all those advantages...
The knockout was not...
this was the first trial of Ruto to stand in. He tried. He didn't get the opportunity to compete directly. This time he is coming in, and he's coming in like a layman. Of course, we know very well that he has been a vice president, but there are challenges as they talk about them. Personally, I have seen this coming in, and I say, what is it? Do you know the late Kibachi? He was a vice president of Arap Moi. But along the way, they lost interest in one another. He comes, he forms an alliance, and he becomes a president.
And he beats, because Kibaki at that time supported...
So it is the history
the president in place.
Moi supported the
people thought that this young man, I think he's too much of himself. He comes and he wins. Now there is a misunderstanding with Uhuru, and we see Ruto really making it to the last minute announcement. For me, what I think is that internally they are building their politics in a way that if there is a problem within our party, we can separate and then still move the same. Because I believe the ideologies of these people are still the same.
Still the same. Because you saw the
right from Kanu. You know Ruto is a Kanu man. He was recruited
all
in Kanu.
of them.
Uhuru, Kibaki, and so whereas there is that new mode or whatever they call it, it eventually ends up in 2-1.
But by the Kenyan politics is majorly built more on the individual merit than the parties. That's why they form those alliances. They look at a person, what you can.
Okay, viewers, once again, I must inform you that we have a platform on which you can send your messages on WhatsApp and short messaging. 0701-609906 will be reading out those messages as the program progresses. Let me pick your thoughts on Ruto's presidency. If at all his victory is upheld, how do you think it will play out at regional level and the prospects of the East African community?
I think Ruto is a very serious businessman. And he has already displayed that he can work beyond the boundaries of his own country. We all know that Ruto has businesses outside Kenya. And when you look at him, like he refers to himself and many other people, he's a hustler.
Okay.
And as a hustler, what do you expect? He's someone who will need to see that developments are continuously in his interest, but also in the interest of his own country. Having been around for some good time, very close to the leadership, and in this case for the last 10 years, having been the VP,
vice president,
there is nothing
deputy
less
president.
we can, deputy president, there is nothing less we can talk about him knowing the systems which work. And of course, the systems which have failed. I see him as someone who is going to be very useful in uniting the people of Kenya. Why? If there were those people who were against him because of Raila, and eventually they are the very people who were with him, with Uhuru, then that means the two blocks are in his own hands. He has the block of Uhuru.
You think they can bury their differences and
these people are politicians.
Work with Ruto?
Haven't you heard about Mushoka? Those discussions which are starting to come in Kalonzo, the discussions which are coming in now, they are coming in because these people are the same. You just imagine. You remember in one of his rallies, he said, no one can put us under tension here. We elected the president, and no one can tell us anything negative. What does it mean? We are the same. We are the people. We are the very people who are on the other side. The difference is that this time we have divided our block into two. What does it mean? Uhuru maintains what was theirs. And now Ruto goes for what was not even theirs. Do you know that some of the people who are supporting Ruto are not in for Uhuru?
Yes.
And what does it mean? If your brother comes from the other house and he comes outside and looks for these other people, that means you are joining the two. So I look at that as a big advantage to Kenya, to put all the groups together. Like he has mentioned, and as I said earlier, they were discussing issues, and these tribal ethnic issues have almost been put into their demise.
Good.
So what are we looking at? We are looking at East Africa, which has been struggling basically because of the past leadership. Now they have a new leader who is coming in not because of the past leadership, but coming in because of his personal strengths and knowledge and exhibition of leadership in the region.
Good.
Now, what do we need? We need him to use his you know, he's still very young.
55.
55 is quite young to be a president of that dynamic country. And I believe that using that as his part of his energy, part of his caliber of doing things, part of being a hustler, he can put all of us together. The issues which are coming in now of some other countries congratulating him, including the president of Uganda. You know, the president of Uganda is the most senior president in the region.
In the region.
But if you are not like other people, we can say even in Africa,
Yes.
he's the most senior president, highly respected. The other time you saw how all these people were coming to Africa, were fighting to make sure they come to Uganda and meet the president to discuss their Ukraine and the Russian war issues.
Okay.
What does it mean? If the most senior president is calling you on phone, and also sending a message of congratulation as early as that, it simply implies that you are already a welcome leader who can be assisted by the senior people to grow to the level.
Good.
My belief is that the Kenyans are still suffering from the challenges of accepting that the 4 members of the commission did what they did in the correct way. That's the only question. But you can see how Kenyans have responded. Despite all these divisions in the commission, despite all these statements, the Kenyans, it's like they are saying, we want to continue. We want our country to go ahead. We haven't seen those challenges, despite the fact that they are the very people.
We haven't seen tear gas.
Yes, the leaders themselves, when they were campaigning, the first thing they were campaigning for is peace.
Good.
And that peace, they went to church before the announcement. They still continued to preach peace. And now, as we hear them talking, they are all talking about peace. That peace alone can grow even beyond the electoral process and go to the whole region.
Honorable Stephen, the Hustler Nation have victory. And what do you see of William Ruto vis-a-vis the dynasty that have ruled Kenya for all these years?
What I can tell you, Kenya is going to enjoy the best type of leadership now.
Really?
Because of the strategy. I can tell that all these people were Azimio. All of them were Azimio Umoja, only that the Kenya Kwanza took another strategy. Like my brother Ian is saying, this was just a divide, but they are all one group. So like I wanted to finalize what he had said, that they will have the best leadership. Why? Ruto knows all these people. And I can assure you, even when they go to the Supreme Court and they lost a case, there will be kushika mkono.
Handshake again.
There will be a handshake. There is no way you can lead Kenya without that handshake today, when the ballot is divided at almost 50-50. But Ruto, using the bottom-top approach, caught up the Kenyans' youth, caught up those people who are not part of the dynasty. And I'm assuring you that that is going to help Kenyans and the region. I happened around 94, 95. I was a waiter at Sheraton Kampala Hotel. Let me say I was a service staff. But I was a presidential waiter. I was selected to serve presidents, always. And I got a secret from His Excellency Daniel Arap Moi and Ali Hassan Mwinyi when we were having the first prayer breakfast. And that secret I cannot reveal to date. Because, but overall was to delay this process of the East African community.
Really?
Overall. But the intestines I cannot mention, because I was put on oath not to mention. I became a friend of these two presidents, and whenever either Hassan Mwinyi or Arap Moi would come to Uganda, whether they have gone to which hotel, they would pick me from Sheraton to go and serve them. Most especially Moi. I served Moi until he left being the president.
Wow.
Because of...
the secret was to delay the East African community.
The intestines I can't talk, but overall. And I see the person who is the icebreaker in this is Ruto now. The icebreaker in this. That's why you see Tanzania is sluggish.
It is dragging its feet.
And it dragged feet more during the Magufuli era. Magufuli was really so much for himself, not for the East African region. But I can tell you that you are nothing without integration. Completely nothing without integration. And therefore we think...
So in William Ruto you see a support.
We see a support for
strong
that.
Supporter for
William Ruto has businesses in Uganda here, has businesses in Tanzania, all over. And if you don't know, they were saying that UDA means Uganda Development Agency.
That's
they were saying Uganda Development Agency.
It's a funny joke.
Yeah, a funny joke. But to show that he's more likened to Uganda than any other candidate in Kenya. And you see, Kenya, Uganda, they are the ones who started this border crossing without a passport. You use just an ID. And Rwanda. But all the other places, you need a passport. But now with this integration, because we are talking of partial development model, where are you going to sell your products if you are not integrated? We've been in Kenya recently. They are crying. You people are not giving us maize. Because we don't have maize here also too. They are crying because they don't have those good soils to have the maize. We have the good soils. So it is really good for the East African integration.
So I see you most of you supported Ruto, though you didn't come out.
I can even tell you that I supported Raila. Let me be very open. I want, as a patriot, a Pan-African, I said, why not Raila to be at least president for one term? because I know at his
That's
age,
consolation for his struggles.
and then Ruto comes, and because I know Raila is a very all-embracing person, that even if he had won, he would bring Ruto on board. And
Really?
yes, he would.
So
He's one of the most, by the hard politician, but who does not keep grudge.
okay.
But Ruto having won, and for the East African region, I know Ruto is better. Following the secrets
Okay.
I have from the two countries, when I was still
Okay,
small.
so final as we move on, honorable, as we move on, you think Kenya has moved on, and under Ruto's presidency, we will not see the dynasties fighting back?
The dynasty will certainly fight back. The dynasty will certainly fight back, but it will not manage that war.
Okay.
In fact, any try to fight back is to dupe them more. They will try to fight back, but they cannot manage a war over the common man.
Finally, on that matter,
I want to think that those who wanted Raila, they just wanted him for sympathy.
Sympathy. Yeah.
But
Not
the truth
for-
is, now Kenya is on the road
Odd.
with a younger man who has been in charge. You can't easily push it back.
Back. You can't.
You know, the energy of a president
You can't.
is built with time.
Time.
Raila has built the energy of opposition for so long that to become a president, one day you'll hear him making a statement almost as if he's in opposition. It is going to be difficult for him to develop that at that age. You can only achieve that even at that age when you have been a president. If you haven't been in that direction, you need so much to do. When you compare the two now, you find that Ruto is much more easier to continue with this struggle,
Yeah, with the
which
struggle.
Kenya has gone through. You know, Kenya has made strides in its development. When we talk about the development up to the level of middle income, we all know they're about $1,700. That's quite big. And leave alone that when we look at their development, which is going on. So for them to continue, and we need Kenya as Ugandans.
Yes.
To be at that level of development so that we can use their infrastructure which are better for us to transport our goods, so that it becomes our market, so that we can get the skills we need from them, leave alone them coming here to impart skills in our people. Then at the end of the day we can also take off as we are struggling to take off. So
Thank you.
I want to think that my personal interest in this was a businessman whom I know is already helping Uganda.
and he's Dr. William Ruto.
For the other person, I haven't known his businesses. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, it was a sympathetic vote.
For
That
me,
was struggled for long.
This is the dialogue, and we are receiving messages. I am Henry Kiza from West Nile, Arua. I like the two gentlemen in the studios, including the moderator. They are very objective and knowledgeable, respective, and they seem to be godly. I like their analysis on Kenyan politics, and I believe those who have listened to them have benefited. They are definitely peacemakers, and I salute them. Thank you so much. Henry Kiza is watching and following from West Nile, and will be reading most of your messages. Go right ahead and send your messages in via our platform 0701 609906, and you can send a WhatsApp message or a short message through SMS platform. My name is Prince Apollo, and in the studios, Mugore Mauku Stephen, a member of parliament for Kabweri County. He is a trade unionist, and he also sits on several committees of parliament.
Committee of Trade,
Committee of Trade,
Tourism and Industry, and that of Human Rights.
Good. And Ian Cheine, he is a consultant on development and several other issues. He has served in different portfolios in government and outside government.
our people from Burundi came here to study about our Semaundong program.
Oh.
I was seeing them off the other day, so they sent greetings to Ugandans. You know, when you are delaying to use your facility, your neighbors will use it. Now people from Rwanda, from Burundi, they are already here. They have been here for a week. They left yesterday to go back to Burundi.
Godwin Mukasa is in Chira. He's saying, thank you so much for the program. And he says, I like the discussion, especially on the analysis on Kenyan politics. Thank you so much, Godwin Mukasa in Chira. And we will be picking your messages as we move on. Let's cross over to a probe that is in Parliament around Uganda Airlines. The issue of exorbitant salaries being paid to top officials at an airline that is making losses, I think it is a matter of concern. And the disparities in the pay structure has also been a matter of concern. And now the issue of qualifications for the top bosses of the airline is also a matter of concern. Let me start with you, who sits in the corridors of, walks the corridors of Parliament.
Okay, I don't sit on park, but I have had disturbing news about what transpired in the committee. One, I worked with Jennifer at Sheraton Bamutulaki for around 10 years. And from Sheraton, I think that lady has never looked for a job.
Yeah.
Has been head-hunted.
Really?
Yes. We started as small people while she was working at Sheraton. She was at the reception, grew, and promoted into sales. From there, I think she went to East African East Africa Air. From there to Air Uganda. From Air Uganda back to Sheraton. From Sheraton to Uganda Airlines. She has been, but I don't think she has even ever applied.
No, it has come out during the probe that she didn't even apply for this job.
Even
as
for
the CEO
this,
of Uganda Airlines,
yes.
40 people had applied, but for him, she was handpicked.
She was handpicked. Okay, and handpicked by who? By the president, and I think he had seen that she could do. But all I knew that
is that the correct way of how we should be getting?
No, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. And as a member of parliament, I don't agree with it at all, because that is jumping our rules. I don't agree with it. And whereas she could be the best, the procedure was there. And already government had paid to the tune of 95 million shillings in selecting the right person. Then that was all put to a standstill. I don't agree with it. And that is why, as parliament, when it comes to the floor, on the floor, when the committee brings on the floor,
report,
I think the report we shall adopt that the appointment was irregular. But you know, parliament, ours is advisory. We shall again take it to the executive, the very executive that irregularly appointed. But we shall take it back there that this appointment was irregular. On the issue of verification of qualifications, you may not have the paper, but when you are qualified, actually.
But what proves that you qualify?
Yeah, is the paper.
Yeah.
That's the
bottom
proves.
line.
Jennifer says she will get these papers from the university. Obviously, as a committee, it has to write to the university. Jennifer's claimed that she studied at this place. Would you give us proof? I'm very sure the university is going to give us proof as parliament. Parliament can't just stop at that. Whatever you mention, and that's why she was handed over to CID, so that further investigation is done. So at the end of the report, you may find we have a letter from the university which says she actually sat, and the transcript may be, and you will not rely on anything else apart from the university documentation. So, but whereas that position, where did it need a single degree? Did it need a master's? What were the prescriptions for it? You may have one degree, but they wanted a master's. She says she's just studying a master's today. So there was irregularity there. And as parliament, we are going to come out with a report because the investigation is not over.
Talk about the exorbitant salaries.
Yeah, that's also not agreeable.
87 million?
Yes, it's too much. You know, I can tell you that even yesterday in our NERM caucus, we're discussing this, the issue of rationalization of some of these agencies. So Uganda Airlines will remain. But in the rationalization, we are looking at also the salaries and whatever, that is going to drop. Do you know what happened just in demarcating UEB,
into UDCL,
into 4,
into ERA, is it ERA?
ERA, transmission, generation, and distribution. Doing that, we have more power in Uganda, which is generated, but not yet transmitted. And we are paying. Because in the agreements, there's what they call deemed energy. And the reason is because the strategic plan of the transmission company is different from the generation company.
Okay.
Whereas they all report the one person, there is no synergy that don't generate before the transmitters are there, or do it concurrently. You know this generation is going to come within 2 years. Have you started on the transmission lines? In fact, for me, I think even transmission is better.
Honorable.
So even on the Uganda Airline, one person getting 87 million shillings. I know pilots get a lot of money. Pilots get a lot of money all over the world. And they can
but pilots are given 60 and 50 around there.
Yeah, but all over the world. And they are the sources of these airlines collapsing because of
they are not the best, I mean, the highest earning, I mean, officials at Uganda Airlines.
Yeah, whereas I'm going to talk of the industry. And that causes the top leaders also to hike their pay. But where the board took the decision to pay somebody 87 million shillings beyond the Governor Bank of Uganda, who earned 65, that is the person who is supposed to, even by law, the law says that a Governor Bank of Uganda shall not have any financial distress. So nobody else should get a salary beyond the Governor
you also
Bank of
think
Uganda.
it is irregular to have heads of these agencies being paid exorbitantly at the expense of Ugandans?
Irregular. And that's the cause of, in fact, like for the Kenya, if I liken it to the Azimio, for them that was their focus. Can we work on this? This is like a corruption. In fact, that is corruption. To give one person 87 million shillings, when after that the second is on 60, and then the others are in 10.
4 million.
What is this person doing?
Then, Dr. Ian Cheine, we talk about irregularity after irregularity. An irregularity in appointment, an irregularity in qualifications, now an irregularity in the pay structure. That is Uganda Airlines.
The challenge in our country is that we are trying to do many things in the public face, and they can cost us a lot. I want to believe there is so much to discuss about Uganda Airlines, but the question is, when we will learn to discuss certain things in a manner that can continue to protect the nation.
And the airline, by the way.
Because this airline we are discussing is just growing, coming back. Who is going to trust it with such leadership? Who? But there was a way. The parliament would have pulled these people and say, for the discussion with these people,
in a
camera. That would have been one thing.
Excellent.
So, as much as I agree that the issue of Kosase is to come and deeply, because I've faced Kosase more than once. As a member of these different boards, you have to go, whether you like or not. But this country must learn to know where to discuss issues with a lot of background that this country is also coming out of the shell. I'm so worried that the good decisions they are trying to make, the discoveries they are doing for the good of the nation, are also in one or another injuring the growth of this new development we are trying to put on board. We are all crying about our own airline. How much business have we lost because
Dr.
other
Cheine,
airlines
you should be blaming the appointing authority who did not look at qualifications for this big enterprise, a big, I mean...
I think the appointing authority, let me chip in shortly. The appointing authority was not looking only at the qualification or whatever, was looking at the output. What has this woman done
Why
in
would,
this country.
why would we undermine the system of recruitment to the
that
public
one
service?
it is him to answer. Because I was trying to tell you that from the time I've known Jennifer Mturaki, I think she has never applied for a job. Even coming back to Sheraton, I was in a panel with the general manager and whatever said.
But good Sheraton is a private entity.
I'm giving you an example.
It's a private entity.
It's
not,
this lady.
It's not like Uganda Airlines.
Uganda Air, I think we can bring her back here since Uganda Air is collapsing. And we just wrote to her that come back and become the director sales. Just like that. So I think maybe with that exposure, the exposition she has had, the president said, let me appoint.
In a recruitment at such level of positions, believe me, I've had opportunity to do recruitment at that kind of level. Headhunting is very normal. Very, very normal.
But you have to have qualifications.
Headhunting is very normal. Now, the background of headhunting is also still decided by the people who are employing that person. It could be your experience in a particular area, and they are looking for that. If you have it and you qualify for it, there is no problem. But also setting up known rules and regulations and academic qualifications is also very essential and important. Some of these new bodies like Uganda Airlines coming in once again could be having challenges of structure and the academic qualifications already being put in place. Because quite often, when you are developing your strategy, that's when you develop all that. And you come out with a kind of structure and the level of qualification and experience and so on and so forth. That could be a big challenge if they have not yet developed that. Sometimes you do headhunting to have people to start these processes. Maybe she's one of the people who are going to help in starting this process. But let us look at it from another angle. The country has started that journey of choosing people to choose their own salaries. But the reason is simple. The members of parliament are not doing their work together with the executive. This country is not crying about only the 87 million, but there is so much
being lost.
Salary, you know, every group is choosing their own salary scale. That is dangerous.
Conniving with the boards.
At the end of that day, what we are having, people are not actually putting in as much as they should put in because of the salary, but they are only enjoying that salary because they are sitting in this kind of board, they are sitting in this kind of organization, they are in charge of this private sector. What is happening in this country is more than what actually we are seeing in Uganda Airlines. That is just a precursor. The parliament must stand up with a private members bill and raise the flag that we should have a salary commission.
Sure.
But that has been talked about
Again and again.
Yes, it is talked about in the corridors.
Not in corridors. I think even they reached an extent of identifying people to sit on that commission.
Yes, that is still in corridors. That is still in corridors. It only becomes a reality when it is in place, and they must ask for it, because how much you are demoralizing. How many people are demoralized by
looking at
big
that
salaries?
These exorbitant
Are you
salaries.
seeing the harmonization already of error being put back?
Yeah,
The
back,
people, yes, the people who were at
back to the Ministry of Energy.
the Ministry of Energy, they are getting salary 4 times.
The people in the ministry are saying, what is happening with these bodies? They are taking over all the meager salaries, which people who are earning so meager, the role they are playing is almost the same role which these people are playing. People are complaining about UNURA.
At Ministry of Works.
Yes. They are saying, but these people, what is different are they
That's so
doing?
special.
There isn't much special.
Hey.
So the salary disparities can only be worked on with a decision taken to have a salary commission. The influence of the executive in all of this can only happen if there is an additional payment which can be added on and above someone's salary. For instance, if you are the CEO of Uganda Airlines, you could be falling in a particular national scale,
Yes.
but you have remunerations, other remunerations, which accrue to you as the CEO. For instance, you can travel abroad, you can use this, you have so many, there are so many other advantages they can have, but they don't fall within the salary disparities. Because if you have a national scale, salary scale, then that will control.
Okay.
Secondly, it is also important to develop a strategy for such an organization, which comes out with an organogram, an organization structure for that institution. And within the organization structure, each individual must be properly given their academic credentials, their experience that is needed, so that when you are filling such positions, you don't fall short of any of that. However, headhunting is one of the best ways of getting the best people, because there are so many people who pretend to be very good in explaining issues.
But why?
And with the qualification.
If I may ask, why would those who are headhunted, why wouldn't they be allowed to compete and be recruited through formal processes? Why? What's wrong with that?
In some institutions, we do.
If you are headhunted, you can't go into the normal process, because you have been headhunted.
No. Some institutions, in some institutions, in some institutions we do. In some institutions we do. They can do headhunting and say, we have found 5 people.
Yeah, who have been headhunted.
But because
the 5 people are
honorables, I find it very, very regular. You have a board that has a recruitment process and structure in place. They advertise the positions, 40 people apply, and then you just go for headhunting. You crush the whole process down. I find it irregular. And let me read out his messages. He is Matthias Areneitwe. He's watching us from Muyenga, Chitagwenda, Western Uganda. I didn't know there was another Muyenga there. And he thinks, thank you for that inspiring debate. And let Ugandan leaders learn much from Kenyan elections. I think people are much more interested with the first topic. Congratulations to the President by the grace of God and the will of the people, Dr. William Ruto. Thank you so much, Arena Itwe. And several other messages coming in. He says he is teacher Julius from Mirembe Secondary School, Bukomansimbi. Thanks for the show. Greetings to the 2 intelligent men in the studios. I thank Kosase for the work done in exposing people who enjoy our taxes illegally. Thank you so much Teacher Julius in Bukomansimbi. Okay, we have Kalamuz Onesimus. Kalamuz Onesimus, he says he's watching from Nyabushozi Chiruhura district. Guys, you are good at analyzing matters. I love you, Sol TV. Thank you so much. Mr. Kalamuzi Onesimus, thank you for watching and thank you for the messages. Let's compare the 2 countries and what can we learn from Kenya as a country if we are nationalists. And this is Rogers watching from Mbale. The system was transparent at the first phase, but the last phase it lost the transparency. Thank you so much, viewers. Many messages coming in. Steve-O Tusime, I am Steve-O Tusime from Namugongo, and he says, I like that honorable from wait at honorable. Yeah. You are hustler also, like Ria. Yes, you are part of the hustler nation. And I can see him going higher. God bless. And that's a good
My
prayer.
namesake, Steve-O.
Steve-O Tusime from Namugongo. Thank you so much, viewers. And
Steve-O should know that I was a waiter.
I think our time is running out.
I've
Many
gone
messages.
through very many things.
Many messages coming in. Good morning, gentlemen. In the studio, I'm Jasimba from Tororo. I like your discussion about Kenya's election. However, I wish Uganda government could borrow a leaf from Kenya, such that term limits are restored. Candidates can campaign freely without beating. I think he means assault and arrest and intimidation. However, I remain a Ugandan. That's what I think he's saying. Thank you so much, Jasimba from Tororo. Gentlemen, we only have 2 minutes. One for you and one for you.
Okay.
I want to think that Uganda has a role to play in East Africa, and one of the main roles is to keep the peace which we are known of. That's one of our best recipe we can give everybody. So one of the peace we need is Kenyans to have peace, and therefore we should do all what we can not to make them lose the peace they have kept on their own. And when it comes to national bodies and remuneration and so on, I think Uganda is set for a salary commission.
What is lacking? Is it the political will?
It must come in any form, because at the end of that day, you are going to have so much demoralization of other bodies which are doing even much more. The creation of the challenges we have had in people fighting for increase of their salaries. You have seen how the arts teacher came and put up a formidable fight. The reason was not because they wanted that salary, but because some other people
are earning higher.
Then why not us? Whenever you see the doctors were complaining, and the reason why teachers were complaining is because of these members of parliament. They claim that they teach them and they come and earn a lot.
Honorable.
So all this we need to do a lot to cut down on this diversity, these changes, these disparities in salaries, so that at the end of the day, we can put up a commission which will be responsible.
Honorable, we are running out of time.
And I think to conclude it all, the issue of headhunting should be done in line with the structure of the organization, including the required credentials in line with academic and experience.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
3 things quickly.
In 1 minute.
One, as a strong trade union who has negotiated a number of collective agreements, both in Uganda, Africa, because by the time, even currently I'm the chairman of Hotel, Restaurant, Catering and Tourism for Africa. I've negotiated very many agreements. It is important that we have this remuneration commission. And I think I will have to be one of the persons to ensure that we push for it. That one we shall. Number 2, on the issue of Kenya.
Finally.
If there is a rerun, I'm very sure Ruto will win heavily because of one thing, the price of Posh. It has gone back to where it was. So as he was telling them that this was just a dupe, it will crash.
It was a campaign gimmick.
Yes, it will crash Azimio badly, and he will get all the votes.
Thank you so much,
and
my guests.
Truly for us, for the East African community, soon I will have to seek appointment to meet President Museveni and the President-elect when he has been sworn in, Ruto, to give them some information.
Thank you so much, our viewers. It's my pleasure hosting you for all these 2 hours. Dr. Ian Chaina and Honorable Stephen, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure having you here at The Dialogue. Viewers, it's a pleasure, and our time actually has run out. But I must thank those who sent feedback. We are really pleased and happy that you've been part of this discussion. We'll be returning back next Saturday. My name is Prince Apollo. Good afternoon. Let's meet again next Saturday in The Dialogue.